Moving on to question 4 from Hercules Collins, an Orthodox Catechism, which he wrote in 1680. There is a terrible sound coming from across the street right now. I think it's something over by the train tracks. I don't know if the video is going to pick that up or not, but it's driving me nuts. Hopefully it doesn't bother you. So here's question 4. Very thankful for this catechism, which again is a tool that is used to teach someone doctrine or theology. And it's done through questions and answers. And so Hercules Collins was a Baptist. He was looking at the Westminster Catechism. He was looking at the Heidelberg Catechism, 2 amazing documents, and said, I want to write something that is particularly for Baptists, both of those being from a Presbyterian perspective. And so he wrote this Orthodox Catechism. It's really good. So question 4, he has been starting with the gospel, of course, and what is our only comfort in life and death, and what are the 3 things that really every Christian needs to know, and then how do we understand our need for God? And we understand our need for God by understanding the law of God, because God lays out in his law, in his word, what it is that he requires and what it looks like for someone who's been made by him to live for him. And we come to understand that we fall completely and totally short, which means we're in need of mercy and grace. So question 4 then asks, what does the law of God require of us? What does the law of God require of us? Now, he doesn't go on and list the 600 plus laws that are found in the Old Testament, but he looks to the words of Jesus, who was asked basically this question by his disciples, and Jesus summarized the requirements of the law. So again, the question, number 4, what does the law of God require of us? Answer, that which Christ summarily teaches us. In other words, this is what Christ summarized. Matthew 22, verses 37 through 40. When it comes to how you and I should live, there may not be a more important text. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first and the great commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang the whole law and the prophets. The Old Testament, God's word, hangs on these 2 commandments. And what are they? What is it that God's law, in a nutshell, requires of you and me? It requires these 2 things, Christian, that you love God and that you love your neighbor. That your whole heart, mind, soul, and strength, it is devoted to loving God, pursuing him, submitting to him, worshiping him, honoring him, pleasing him, obeying him. All of this is love for God. And then not only lest we say that we love God and have this relationship with God that is not manifesting itself in any way on earth with the people that God has put with us, we are to love our neighbor and to love them as we love ourselves. We care for ourselves by nature. We provide for ourselves by nature. We prefer ourselves by nature. We look out for number 1 by nature. That's how we're to love others. All others. Those whom God has put in our path, those who are in our church family, those who are in our family, those who live on our street, those who we interact with. We are called to love them. And we do We have love for them, and we demonstrate love for them if we truly do love God. So I love that catechisms do this, and this is another occasion for it, where things are boiled down. We have a lot that we believe as Christians. The Bible has a lot of truth that it teaches, and it can be difficult at times to recall or remember, what do I need to be doing right now? And I think his disciples were feeling that when they asked this question of Jesus. And I love the way he boiled it down for them. That I can do. Today, God, help me to love you with all my heart, all my mind, all my soul, all my strength, and to love my neighbor as myself. So let me say it one more time. Question 4 of an Orthodox Catechism by Hercules Collins. What does the law of God require of us? Answer. That which Christ summarily teaches us, Matthew 22, 37 through 40. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first and the great commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang the whole law and the prophets.